FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
Well, the first point that I would make is that when you go to these meetings, everyone says, well, it would be terribly destabilizing and tragic indeed if Iran were to acquire a nuclear weapon. And I mean other states with whom we speak. And that seems to be the consensus. And it's on that basis that we have worked with particularly the Russians, the Chinese, and the 3 European countries to try to forge a coalition of states that will carry the international banner against allowing Iran to have a nuclear weapon. But of course, this is going to require extremely, not just coordinated, but more intensive diplomatic activity. The fact is the Iranians have continued to defy the international community despite the series of sanctions that have been put there. They've continued to defy despite the fact that, and they continue to say, well, it's just the United States or it's just the West. Well, these are Security Council resolutions, which mean that they have the entire world's imprimatur. But while the Security Council resolutions are very important, so too are the efforts that we are undertaking, which you referenced, David, that are using the Security Council, in a sense, umbrella, a concern, but really are outside of the Security Council. And those are sanctions that the Treasury Department, designations that the Treasury Department makes of Iranian entities, individuals, groups, in order to prevent Iran from using the international financial system to move its ill-gotten gains from terrorism and from proliferation. And we made designations, for instance, of the Quds Force. We made designations of the Revolutionary Guard. You can believe that we're going to continue to make designations because we believe, as my colleague Hank Paulson said, that it's really hard to know who you're doing business with when you do business with Iran. And that is the point that we are making increasingly to commercial entities, to banking and financial centers. You may think that you're doing, quote, legitimate business with Iran, but you know, over time, the IRGC and the Quds Force is more and more involved in these issues. And therefore, we're really trying to mobilize the international community to recognize what kind of state Iran is and what kinds of measures it requires. We are also not in connection with the nuclear issue, but in connection with what the Iranians are doing in Afghanistan and in Iraq and in Lebanon, and as I mentioned earlier, in supporting Hamas in the Gaza Strip. I think we have to be more active in calling to people's attention the nefarious activities that Iran is engaged in against reasonable states in the region and against our common security interests. Particularly recently in Iraq, we had a kind of interesting circumstance. The Iraqi government reclaimed Basra in the south from elements of Jaish al-Mahdi associated with Muqtada Sadr, trained and equipped by Iran. Now, I think that that has gotten people's attention. It certainly had people's attention at the neighbors meeting that I recently attended. So it is a process of continuing to try to push on as many fronts as we possibly can. But it is also to be very clear that the United States is prepared to defend its interest and defend its friends in the region. And it is one reason that the Gulf Security Dialogue that Bob Gates has been leading on the defense side, that the security assistance packages that we've put together for not just Israel, but for other important states in the region, that this is a signal that the United States is in the region to stay and will defend its interest.